I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
LinkedIn, success without the overwhelm. Overwhelm. Have you ever been overwhelmed with LinkedIn? I have. I'm excited that my guest is going to be somebody who can help us reduce the overwhelm, become just whelmed, maybe. Anyway, thanks for being here. If you're watching us live, awesome. If you're watching us on the replay, remember to go hashtag replay and let us know where you're watching in from. That would be terrific. Now I'm going to do a shameless plug for my company. So, are you an entrepreneur? Do you own a business? Maybe you're an executive or a leader in the sales space. Well, if you ever have a question and you want to get an answer to that question by a business coach, well, you're in luck. I am one. But more importantly, I'm associated with several hundred excellent business coaches around the globe. So if I don't have the answer to your question, I can make an introduction to some really amazing people. Got to rekindle that connection with them in New Orleans last month. First time in 3 years we were able to get together and have a mastermind, see some great presentations, and got reminded of how highly efficacious the group is. So if you have a question, send an email to phil@coachphil.ca, and no credit cards required. It's just a quick conversation to help you with a question. And Phil@coachphil.ca is how you'll find us. LinkedIn, success without overwhelm. I'm pretty excited because we have an expert in the world of LinkedIn to help us. I'm just gonna, before I bring her on, I'm gonna share this and see if I can bring this up right away. Yeah, this is her. This is her when she's showing her personal brand, and she doesn't look like that currently right now. Her hair's all in a great place, and it's a really important aspect to her. So we'll talk about that here shortly. So let me just tell you a little bit about Irene. And I forgot to ask her how to pronounce her last name. Irene Kohler? She's not nodding or shaking. No, but anyway, she'll correct me when I bring her on. She's helped thousands strategically improve business results while eliminating wasted time and overwhelm. Typical client results have included being recognized as an industry go-to expert, attracting more ideal clients, leading to increased revenue, executive thought leadership, and senior level career advancement. She's taught social media marketing at San Francisco State University and California State University and eSpace since 2015. So I think she's got some knowledge that we could borrow, and we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to find out about her as well. Irene, welcome, and thank you for being on our show. I know it's early for you, so I appreciate you getting up early for us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I brought my tea with me, and I am ready for a great conversation.
Awesome. So, like, LinkedIn hasn't been around forever and ever. So, what was before you got into LinkedIn, what were you doing that kind of was part of the journey to get here?
Yeah, this was a completely accidental career for me. So I was in the corporate world for 20 something years for a long time. I was in senior management, and but always wondering what would it be like to have my own business, just to work as a consultant. And so I did that. So I worked as a consultant, working with small businesses. I was the head of human resources when I was in the corporate world. So I just was doing that, consulting with small businesses. But I began to ask myself, since even though it's great, all of my business was coming through referrals, what if people, we didn't have a common connection? How would people know about me? Now, this was around 2007, something in that neighborhood.
Mhm.
And LinkedIn had just launched, and I began to dive into LinkedIn and teach myself how to use it, and discovered this is how people will learn about me who I don't know. This is a discovery engine. This is a reputation engine. It didn't always start that way. I mean, LinkedIn used to be known as the place you go if you're looking for a job.
Right.
And it's evolved so much since then. But as I learned about LinkedIn and other people heard what I was doing, they asked, "Can you come and speak at my company? Can you teach me how to do what you're doing?" And so I was doing my consulting business, and I was doing this LinkedIn business, and I ended up having to choose. So I got to choose, do I want to do the one that I've done for a long time, I can do with my eyes closed, it's stable, or do I want to do the thing that I don't know anything about? I have no idea how it's going to go. And it's kind of scary. And I said, yeah, that's the one I want to do. And ever since then, it started with LinkedIn, and then I learned how to use and leverage all the other the social media platforms. And as you said, and now I teach. So who would have thought? It just wasn't something I was looking for, but I embraced the challenge and jumped in completely.
So what I like about that, because of the theme of the Business Renovator has three pillars: sales, marketing, and mental fitness. And what I like is you had two options: the comfortable one and the way out there uncomfortable one. And you said yes to that one. And I can see in your face when you talk about it, it's still exciting doing what you're doing and helping other people take a leap of faith, take the risk. And I'm going to ask a question because I think I know what the answer was. In that one that was uncomfortable, was about the same amount of energy around anxiousness about it and excitement about it? Like,
Uh, yes, anxious, excited, and also incredibly frustrating because I was just determined to learn how to do all these things online that I had never done before, right? I mean, I don't mean to give anything away, but I'm not a digital native.
well,
I didn't grow up with any of this, so I had to teach myself everything, and it wasn't easy. Plus, using all these platforms, they weren't as user friendly, back then.
mhm.
The first time, now this is back in that time, I set up an event using Eventbrite. No, no exaggeration. It took me that first time from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. just to get it set up. And yeah, it was new, and I'm sure I wasn't saving my work, all sorts of things. It wasn't as you, but I was just determined I'm going to figure this out. And that's why I figure, if I'm a great example, if I can learn how to do these and use them in a way that's aligned with whatever somebody's goals are, then I can help anybody do it.
Yeah, I just want to go back to why I asked that question.
Ah,
Oh, and that's okay because what you shared here supports why what I believe, what I know to be true, not just believe, but I know it. When I've worked with my own clients and my own life, is when we get to that point where we're scared and
mm,
excited, we do all those things you just described. So you supported where I was going with this, and I just want to
mm,
make sure that our audience recognizes that being an entrepreneur is one of the best things you'll ever do in life, but it's also scary and
yeah.
uncertain and long days learning stuff, right? And
Hmm.
so I thank you for sharing that part of the journey. Um, and kudos to you because I get frustrated. I don't know if I would stick to that kind of study on this kind of stuff. I would lean out and try and find somebody to help me. I think that's what I would do. So interesting, interesting. And you're right. Technology is not the same even a day ago or two
Yeah.
days ago because there's some things that changed. I'm having some issues with something on my system, and I don't think I did anything different, but something's different about it. So I've got IT helping me out with it. It's a moving thing. It's an amoeba, right?
Absolutely. Every day, it's always something's different.
So then you were able to learn and do it and teach it. Um, it being sorry LinkedIn. It is LinkedIn. Just to make sure people are clear on that. We didn't say anything else at this point in time. And then you started teaching it and becoming very efficient and effective and knowledgeable on it. In your bio, we talked about some of the people or some of the successes. Could you speak to one that really gets your heart pumping with excitement with the results that you helped somebody achieve leveraging your expertise in LinkedIn?
Absolutely. Each person that I work with has like a different objective. But most of the people I work with are service providers. They own their own business, and whether they're an attorney or a consultant or a coach, I mean, so these are people who their personal brand and their business brand they're inextricably linked. And so we want to the so the work that we do is to have them stand out, showcase their expertise, but also attract their ideal client to them. And so I've worked with some of the most impactful results are once we use LinkedIn and get it set up in the right way and really optimize it, then they notice that people who are their target audience start finding them. LinkedIn has, it tells you like who's viewed your profile.
Mhm.
And then, so they start getting much more relevant invitations to connect, more relevant messages, inquiries. So the ones that are most well, they're all rewarding, so I don't want to leave anybody out. Um, but those are the ones when they realize, wow, I have been using LinkedIn for a while, but I really didn't do it with clear intention, and it really does create results. And I've just worked with somebody who said, now I have like more appointments on my calendar for people who are interested in working with me. And it's just such a thrill to see those light bulb moments where they say, okay, now I get it. I understand.
Without giving your secret sauce away, because I know this is your business. Um, where am I going with this? I know where I'm going with it. There are people that are using automated systems, and they instantaneously say, "Hey, I see we have a lot of things in common." But they don't specifically say what it is. And then if I have done this on occasion, just to test the water, see what happens. I'll bring them into my community. I'll connect with them, and then instantaneously I get a pitch. And the only time I like using a pitch is when I'm annoyed with the feedback I'm getting, because I hate the word pitch. I teach and coach in the world of selling, and nobody likes to be sold, but we love to buy. So pitching is selling in a way that is aggravating. That's my bias. Obviously, you don't have to believe, you don't have to buy into what I think. And the building relationships and adding value and providing solutions, becoming a professional solutions provider is the space I like to hang out in and help people with. And I've seen the two differences. Does it really matter on LinkedIn, or am I just being silly?
Um, well, I will say 1,000%, I agree with you. I'm right there with you. And one of the reasons for some resistance to LinkedIn, there are a number that I hear from people, it's
Mhm.
too complicated, whatever, but is specifically what you're talking about. When I connect with people, I get, they just start pitching me things. And I think everybody who's on LinkedIn has had that experience, and they're automated. So the first thing I'll say about it is those automated tools are, number one, they're a violation of the terms of service for
Yeah, that's
LinkedIn.
what I
And LinkedIn,
thought.
yeah, and LinkedIn is fairly good. They are able to detect. I'll say I personally know people who've had their accounts shut down because they're using those third-party tools. So LinkedIn is that doesn't mean they catch everybody right away all the time, but beyond that is the question, is that effective? I would say with a very low percentage, but for the person who's sending the message, it's easy, right? It requires no effort. They just plug and play. And I know I'm not the only one who's received those messages that what they're pitching is actually what you do, right? Is the service that you offer. So clearly, this is not someone who has taken any time to read your profile. They're taken any time to figure out why they want to connect with you. And so I don't respond to them. And if you get if you really want to engage with them, you can kind of test if it's a bot or if it's a real person, just by, if you get a message like in an invitation, you can reply to the invitation without accepting the invitation. And you can just like ask a question, and you may not get any reply, or you may just get whatever the canned
Right.
second message is, and then that tells you that it's a bot. But yeah, I just mark them as spam in my inbox to help train my inbox to move these things out of the main area of my inbox. And I just don't reply to them. And I will, and if it's someone that I'm connected to, I may very likely disconnect from them.
Yeah, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's really a platform that, like, if you went to a networking event, I used to organize one for like 5 years, and we called it the Winter Circle Networking Breakfast, and people came there to connect with people, and you
Yeah.
either liked them or you didn't, or you eventually learned to like them, and maybe you didn't like them at first, you misread them, but as you get to know who they are and they show up consistently, right, then you kinda wanna work with them or hang out with them or do something. And I see LinkedIn as kind of just a different way to do the same sort of thing. Is that right?
Absolutely. We don't want to somehow people get this idea that, I mean, we forget when we're online that the person on the other side of that message or that post or whatever, those are real people. And
Yeah.
we should not ever say something or engage with them in a way that we wouldn't do like if we were face to face, right? We wouldn't just walk up to people. When you say a networking event, it's such a good example. Just like, hire me to do this.
Yeah.
Hire, handing business card, hire me to do that. It's like, what? Like, what's your name? How are you doing? Yeah, people are just trying to jump from zero to conversion. And that just rubs people the wrong way. And when you mention selling and adding value, I think if we think of selling as not so much like transactional, but you're so right about relationships. Selling, we can on LinkedIn and really just anywhere, when we show up and we're sharing information that is supporting our community, is uh, inspiring them, giving them some helpful tips. That all is, in a sense, selling, because it is helping us be seen as a trusted resource of whatever our lane, whatever our area of expertise is. And that is, while it's not overt selling, when we show up and share our knowledge, that is a way of selling.
Yeah. So I got to add on to that because I totally agree with you. Because I think selling is a wonderful profession, and professional sellers don't tell. They ask questions. They're like a doctor
Yes.
selling. Proper diagnosis provides proper solutions and prescriptions. And even if you go to a doctor, generally, in most cases, they're not just going to say, well, here's the one option, do this or die. Usually there's other things we could do, and they've built rapport and trust and respect. So I think Bob Berg was one who coined that phrase. People do business with those that they like, trust and respect. And
Hmm.
if we don't have that, we're in the pitching side, which is the people, the small percentage of people that give sellers, professional sellers and solution providers, a bad taste. And even though I teach this, I still get angst when I run into somebody who's opposite what you and I are talking about. So
Hmm.
I just finished graduating a group of people, about 70 of them recently, and introduced them to the concept of the golden triangle. The golden triangle talks about relationship selling. That's one part of it, consultative selling, and educational selling. And you can have a hybrid of all three of those as a pro. A professional can do all three of those. And when you've done that, you've earned the right, and people lean in and say, wow, how do I get to work with you? Right. And I think
Hmm.
I think what you teach on this platform of LinkedIn is how to do that. Did I got that right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right about that know, like, and trust. Um, that process, that journey that we want to allow people to go through at their own pace.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, we cannot command trust when we're asking people for a conversion or to buy our thing or hire us to do something. That requires some trust. And when you come out of the blue, I mean, it's like walking down the street and you see a stranger and you say, "Hey, let's get married." You know, it's just like, whoa,
Let's
slow
missed a
your
few
roll.
steps. Yeah, that's a really good example. That's probably not going to happen very often.
I hope not.
Yeah, that's funny. But it is a process, right? I just spoke American. It's a process. So for us
Mm,
Canadians, it's a process.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. I want to, what are we doing for time here? Where'd my clock go? Oh, it's right there. I want to bring up your website and maybe play this one particular video, which it has you like your hair's a mess, but you're not a mess. I'm going to share this. Hopefully, this will be heard by everybody when I bring it up.
Hey, hi. So here are some tips to begin to build your brand online. Hi, my name's Irene, and I want to share with you some quick tips that will help you on your journey to tell your story. As you can see, I just got in from taking a walk outside. It was a little chilly. Uh, don't hate on me. I'm in California. I get cold easily. Anyway, so it is what it is. First tip, number one, is to be yourself. You don't have to be perfect. And most importantly, we're not trying to be for everyone, right? If we try to be so on point all the time for everyone, we're not going to be for anyone. People want to connect. People want to say, yeah, I can relate. And it's totally fine if people say, hey, that woman with the messy hair who couldn't bother to get it together before she got on camera. I'm cool with that. Number two, when you are sharing something online, share value, have a point, have a reason that you're sharing, whatever that is. We want to showcase what we know and what we're all about. Otherwise, how will people get to know us? Number three is video is incredible for connecting with people, especially during this time when we cannot be at in-person events. This is a way to get to know people and to show off our personality, what we know. And again, it may click with some people and it may not. Totally
fine. And the fourth one is just to be open, just to be honest. And it feels a little risky to be transparent, but people relate to that. And so I'm here. I am not, in this time right now, I am not about like worrying about my hair. I'm not about that. If I was to be speaking on a stage at a more traditional event, yeah, I brush my hair. Still the same person. This is what you get. So I thank you for watching. And if you got value out of this, if you're interested, I'd appreciate if you just hit the like button or drop me a comment, say hello. Let me know. Do you have Messy hair today also? See you soon.
Whoa, that's putting yourself out there, isn't it? Huh? See, and your hair looks so much different. I'm not going to say better because that looked great too.
Yeah, but you have no idea the time, the investment of time that goes into this. Yeah, I think one of the things I think is a positive outcome to come through, like what we've all been through in the last couple years, is that we have a much more flexible idea about what being a professional should look like. Right? You can see I'm here, I'm at home, I got stuff around. You can't see the piles of things that are like below the camera, and we have, people have their dogs running by, their kids running by, somebody knocks at the door while you're, all of those things, you still are a professional. None of that takes away from your expertise, your ability to serve your clients, do the work that you do, all of that. And I think that just humanizes us so much more. And when it comes to showing up on LinkedIn, in the past, like number of years, I mean, as I said, it's evolved tremendously. People always approached it as very, very buttoned up, like very serious. And, we must look like the corporate way. We must like speak, like having a sense of humor and, taking yourself not seriously. I mean, those are the things that really allow us to stand apart from everyone else. Because the truth is, the skills that I have, and I am not the only person who works with clients to help them improve their business results by leveraging LinkedIn. There are a lot of people who do that. But for some people, because of my approach, because of my personality, because of my area of focus, whatever it is, I'm the right fit. I'm the best fit. And for other people, someone else is the right fit. So by showing our personality, that allows whatever it is that each one of us does, people want to know not just what your skills are, but what would it be like to work with you? Are you somebody that I'd feel comfortable with? Do you seem trustworthy? Do you seem, not all of that is really important to share. And so that's why the hair is, I'm fine with it. If some people just think that's just a little outside of their comfort zone, that's okay.
It's just not a good match. I totally get that, because in the space that I'm in, we need to have a pattern interrupt, whether you're doing it on LinkedIn or if it's a conversation. So it reminds me, one of the coaches I get to work with, her name is Kristen with 2 eyes, and she's a little bit more subdued than I am. And there's people that are way more gregarious than I am. I mean, I'm like really an introvert compared to them. But with her, I encouraged her when she's out meeting people or speaking with them or even branding, because Kristen with 2 eyes is not, I think, the most common way to spell Kristen. And so I've encouraged her to say to people, "Hi, I'm Kristen with 2 eyes." And they go, "Well, of course you got 2 eyes." Whatever that is, it's just a way to instead of, "Hey, buy my stuff," it's, "Hi, I'm Kristen with 2 eyes." What made me think of that is I met a guy whose name is Eric with 1 eye. And I thought, well, that's pretty clever. And he says, "No, I only have 1 eye. One of his eyes is not is prosthetic." So it's interrupting people. And what I liked about that video that we shared earlier was the messy hair. And it's going to resonate with some people and say, oh, wow, this is cool. Just like you said. And we can't serve everybody. And I heard somebody actually his name is David S. Wood. He said, half the people will like you and half the people won't. So we need to find the ones that like us and go hang out with them, because our life is not forever. It's only for a wee little bit of time. So wouldn't it be better to hang out with people that we like, love, and respect, and vice versa? So I've put your LinkedIn info there for people to see how to find you, so they can watch that video over again if they didn't quite get enough of it. But there's some other great content on your website as well. And I do have the main page showing up with your header and your images and a little bit more about you. So if you're intrigued by the messy hair approach or not, if you're not, then don't reach out to her. It's not a fit. And if you want to find out how to mess up your hair and feel comfortable, maybe she could help you with that, as well as help you with LinkedIn and how to do LinkedIn. Anything else you would like to add to that?
I would love, I mean, anyone who is in, if you have your own business and you're looking to, or just increase your business results, and it could be that, somebody, a lot of the people I work with, like, have been using LinkedIn for years and years and years, but just not using it like with the right strategy. And that's why they're not getting the results. So I'd welcome any questions, send me a note, connect with me, follow me on LinkedIn. That would be great. And I'll say messy hair is not a requirement. It is, we just want what I want, however somebody is comfortable showing up, to encourage them to show up in that way. So for me, it's being more transparent, but I recognize it's a journey. Not everybody is there, and not everybody wants to show their personality in that way. But it's finding what's the unique, what's special about each person.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I'm not picking on your hair. I just like the idea that it's a really good pattern interrupt. And if we don't slow people down enough to check us out, learn more about us, then they're just going to skim by. And if we're like everybody else, the Me Too thing, one of the things I've recognized in business, whether it's on LinkedIn or elsewhere, websites, marketing, period. Somebody in a business will get into a business because they're mad at the guy or gal that used to work for, so they start a business because they have a couple of customers that they could work for, and they've got a van and they got the tools and they got the skills, and they go off, be that guy. And what they do is look at that guy or gal's website, replicate it, change the name, change the color, and everything else is the same. And in that premise, it's a race to see who's first out of business, because the only differentiating factor in that example is price. It becomes a commodity. So leveraging your knowledge and attracting the right people, whether it's messy hair or whatever other interrupt there is really key. So I like that about your messaging. That's what I got out of it.
Right. It's a crowded place on LinkedIn, online.
Yeah.
And we want to grab someone's attention. We are creatures with very short attention spans, right? So as we're scrolling the feed, as we're, if we're searching for keywords on LinkedIn or somewhere else, we want to be sure that, you stand out and grab attention right away. If we make it really complicated for someone to figure out what is the work that you do, what are the results you can offer, if we make it too challenging, it's not like crystal clear, then somebody has moved on, right? If it's work to connect the dots, I mean, they're gone. So we want to really laser focus on that.
Yeah. So those are all really good ideas. Now, obviously, this is not a training session. This is just your journey and some insights. And if the audience likes what they're hearing, or if they have a question for you, they can look at the replay, because I've taken the banner down. if the messy hair resonates with you, whatever way that shows up, connect with Irene and have a conversation, and you'll be amazed. Irene, I want to thank you for being a guest on my show today. And I know it's early, and you said it takes a lot of time to get your hair in place. I can relate. Anyway, I thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you. It was great fun, and it's worth getting up early and doing my hair for. Happy to do it.
Don't go away. Well, there you go. Another interesting conversation about the wonderful resource of LinkedIn. There's a lot of parts and pieces, and there is a proper way to use it so that you're showing up and being reached out to. So I want to thank Irene once more. But before I end this episode, let's just bring up something that I always like to bring on. I want you to continue to be you, your wonderful self, your unique self, because each and every one of us is different. And how do you stand up? How do you stand out, and how do you show up? Maybe you got something from today's show that'll help you continue on your wonderful journey. Till next time, I am Coach Phil, and I look forward to seeing you on another episode of the Business Renovator.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm brave.